welcome to my channel. And today we're going to talk about the SQL execution order. So why SQL execution order is important is because we have to understand how it actually works in terms of the logic so that we can work on the sequence accordingly. And without further ado, let's just get started by introducing the SQL sequence. So for the very first part, we're going to talk about there are multiple SQL execution order where you should follow, and here are the list of SQL calls that we will be talking about. So first part is the from statements, where from statement is basically, imagine SQL is a huge database, and when you pull the data from SQL, you have to tell SQL how to pull the data accordingly. So in order to do that, you have to specify the table name so that SQL knows where you would like to pull the data from. And then the next part is the where statement, which gives you the ability to filter data. Is similar to the filter function within Excel file. And then we have aggregate function called group by, which helps you aggregates the data. And the next part we have having, where we filter out the aggregated data accordingly. And then the next part we have select, which helps you orders the data as the ultimate output. Next we have order by, which helps us order the table accordingly. And then limit gives us the ability to limit the number of records as the return output. Without further ado, let's just talk about how each query execute accordingly. So the very first part, we're going to use some of the dummy data to help us to start with the query. But before we do that, let's just talk about some of the regular comments that we will be using in SQL so that you can log your ideas, or when you share the code with other people, they can easily follow regarding what's going on. This is a single line comment. For Mac, you can use command and the question mark button, press them all together, and then you get the single line comment. And outside of single line comment, you will also have a multi-line comment, which gives you the part where you can comment out multiple lines at a time. That's basically how comments works within SQL environment. Next, we're going to use some of the dummy data to create a table called employees. So employees here, there are 4 columns here, which are ID, employee name, department, and salary. And then we fed in kind of like some of the dummy data here just for representation purpose. Each record represents the person, employee ID, department, and then corresponding salary. With that, we're gonna pull the data from the database, use select. So we're gonna do like select statement, and then if you want to select everything, it's gonna be select all. Like star means everything. It's basically, we usually call it select all. Select all from, so the very first part is from, right? So from is going to select the data from specific table. So now we're going to tell SQL like, hey, we're going to select everything from employees, table name called employees, and then boom, this is the output. I know it's a little bit ugly in terms of the output, but you get the idea. So this ID, employee name, department, and salary. Next, we're going to talk about how each query are running. For example, I want all the employee information under IT department. The very first part is from. It's basically telling SQL where to focus. So which table it should be focusing on. So from employees, and then we are going to use where statement. Where statement filters the best data. Base data basically means all the data that you aggregated through from and join statement. They're all called base data. So it's basically all the columns originated from the tables when you use from or join. Now we're only focusing on the employees that are in IT department. In this case, we're going to use where statement, where department, equals to IT. Now, there's no additional filters that we would like to filter on, so it's gonna be select all from employees where department equals to IT. And use semicolon as a period to let SQL know we actually finished running the script. And now we only have all the employee information who belongs to Department of IT. And next, if you want to use multiple conditions, say I want to pull all the employee information who belongs to sales department or salary is greater than 5,000. We're going to select all from employees because we're not limiting the columns here. And where department, so now we're focusing on sales department, so department equals to sales. And then the second condition is salary bigger than 5,000. With this, we're going to combine the two conditions together. So by how are we combining the two conditions together? Depends on the condition. Now it's either or. We only require one condition to be met. Could be both, but either or situation. So we use or statement. If you need both of the conditions to be met, you need to use and clause. So now we can just run this, and then you will see all the results is either department equals to sales or salary equals to 5,000. And it could be both, like Apple for in this case is good. It meets both of the criteria. So you can use and or to combine your conditions all together, depends on your use cases. So this is basically how you use where statement to filter the base data. Next, we have group by statement. So group by is basically how you aggregate the data. Basically, there is something that you need to kind of like group everything all together. So when is gonna be the time you have to group everything together? For example, if we are actually looking for the total salary per department, that requires additional calculations. Similar to when you're using Excel, the sum, count, maximum, minimum, those kind of Excel built-in function, those are all regarded as a aggregated function here. So with that, we'll just go with select all from employees and then group by, take all out, group by. Now we're calculating the total salary per department, so we're going to group by department, and then there's nothing we need to filter, so we don't use where statement because we're keeping all the records here. We're not excluding anything. And then followed by group by. Within the select statement, we're going to put the department here. All the columns that you use within a group by, remember to use that within your select statement. So select department, and then we wanted to calculate the total salary. So the total salary, that means we have to aggregate the salary all together by department. So IT department will have the total salary, sales department will have its own total salary, and the finance department will also have its own salary as well. So in this case, we're calculating everything, so we're summing up all the salaries. And then we use sum statement to sum the salary all together, group by department. And then when we hit the execution button, you'll see the aggregated output. So IT, the total salary is going to be 12,000. Department finance is gonna be 12,200. Sales department is gonna be 15,500. And then if you don't give as a new column name, it's gonna be whatever you put right here. So for the best practices, I'll typically name with a new column name. So how do I give a new alias? You put as here and then say name this as total salary. And then now, boom, the column name changed to the name that I wrote. So you can name a column however you want, but make sure it's not start with numbers and it's not one of the word that you use as when you execute SQL. For example, select, from, where, group by, rank, and stuff like that. And then this is how group by gonna work to aggregate the data from the base data. Next, we're going to talk about the other filter function called having. So having is used to filter the aggregated data, so everything from group by. And as a result, when you use having, there must be a group by, but when you use group by, you don't necessarily need to apply having within it. There are some of the interview questions that people will ask you about. What's the difference between where and group by? It's basically having is used to filter on the base data, so the original columns presented within the tables that you were referencing, and then having is the ones that you use to aggregate the data from from the aggregated results. So it's different because having can only be used to filter the aggregate results, and then where you can use to filter on the base data. So you can use where to filter the aggregate results, and the other way around as well. And in this case, we're going to use one of the example to get, say, if I want all the max salary per department, but I only want the department with maximum salary that is over 5,000. We'll break this down into two steps, and the first step is going to be we're going to calculate the maximum salary per department, and then we'll deal with the filter later. So the first part is like we're doing the there's nothing that we need to filter, so there's no where statement within. So from employees, and then we're going to use group bys to find the group by department, because we're going to find the maximum salary per department. And then that's why we use group by, and then select department. We want the maximum, so we want the maximum salary per department. So now we use max function instead of sums up all the salaries, but now we're just going to get the maximum salary, and then we'll also give an alias. Okay, so now we have all the salary per department, but I only want the maximum salary, which is over 5,000. That means over, like, more than 5,000. This one, IT department, disqualifies. So we need to filter this out. And if we use where statement, you'll get an error message where maximum salary bigger than 5,000. You'll get an error message saying that invalid use of group function. So that means where happens before group by. So this column maximum salary doesn't exist when you run the where. So we have to use having. So having maximum salary bigger than 5,000, and then here you are. IT department is gone because it disqualifies for the condition within having. So this is how having should be used to filter the aggregated information after group by. Next, we're going to talk about the select, but select, we've been using select a lot. It's basically, although select is written in the front of at the beginning of the SQL, doesn't mean that it got executed very first. It happens after having, if there's having. But typically the order should be from, where, group by, having, and this is Maple, and then followed by select. So after select, we're going to talk about order by. So in this case, we're going to use order by to just give you an idea how order by should work. So here we wanted to sort the employee table by the employee name in either ascending or descending order. So there's no filter here because I just want everyone to understand how group by works. So select all from employees, and then we'll just go with order by employee name, and then we'll just see how it goes. Now it's automatically sorted by the alphabetical order because they're all alphabets. But say if it's numerical data, then it's just gonna sort from the minimum to the maximum in the ascending order. If you want to do like descending order, then we'll be adding DESC at the back, and then you'll see it order the results is ordered by the employee name within the descending order. And then next, if you want to order by 2 columns, but one in ascending, one in descending, then say if I wanted to group by the department in descending order, and then the employee name with ascending order, we just use this, and then you'll see from the descending order for department, but like ascending order from the employee name. So you can apply multiple order, but this will be executed first and then followed by the employee name. Last but not least, we're going to talk about limit. So limit is basically when you try to limit the number of return results. Say I want the top 3 employees with highest salary. So top 3, essentially I only want 3 employee information. So in this case, we'll just do select everything from employees, and then next I need the top 3 rows. So I have to make sure the top 3 rows has the highest salary amongst all. So I'm gonna to order by salary in descending order, and then limit 3. So those are the top 3 employees with highest salary. So you can limit number of records however you want it. So limit 3 means they're gonna return top 3 rows, and limit 5 means that they're gonna return top 5 rows, and etc. So this concludes our today's tutorial. It's basically talking really high level regarding how SQL executes in terms of the order. And I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoy Meeple's company. And we'll see each other again next time. Bye.